Hey YouTube, I thought you might enjoy the drive up to the house from the main road. Seeing all the hardwood trees and the pine trees, and might see a bear if we're lucky. Just something different for today. It was raining all day, so I didn't really get a chance to do any work outside. But I was had to go into town to pick up a couple of little things with my wife, so a lot of hardwood. Right here there's pine on the right and on the left here, but most of it's all hardwood. A lot of the pines are growing because they don't harvest the pine. When the tree guys come in, they usually only harvest the hardwood, red oak, maple. A couple of camps. I'm just amazed at how many leaves are still on the trees for the 1st of November. This is my favorite part of the ride coming up here. You go over a little stream here, and then my wife and I call this the Pines. So when we come up through here, we know where one another is if we refer to this as the Pines. Usually there's deer running across the road or jumping across here. All kind of animals here. This is the only place along the whole road where there's actually a couple of cherry trees in the woods that are close to the road. Up here about a half a mile or so. This is state forest. We're starting to get near where the gas wells are drilled. That's why they have this huge sign here. This is the area where they put the water pipe. You can see how they snaked it in and around the trees, and they fixed this road for the gas company. This road was barely navigable when it rained before the gas company came and fixed it for themselves and actually made it better for us as well. But this pipe snakes about 8 miles of pipe along the road here, I would say. We're getting to the top of the mountain, and you can see that it's foggy up here compared to where we started. It's supposed to be a fresh water line, but I have a suspicion that there's fracking water running through it, which is not fresh water. So on the top of the mountain here, which is where I'm at, it's really unbelievable that these leaves have not fallen off the trees yet. I mean, there's a lot falling, but this is November 1st. These trees should be bare almost, except for some of the white oak usually hang on to their leaves. Hey YouTube. So I thought I made this video when it was light out, but when I went to edit the video, I couldn't find this part of it. So this is the wood that was outside all night from that white oak. You can see how much the humidity is in this thing. Yeah, 45%. This is the moisture content in this piece of oak that I cut yesterday. So we'll compare that with what's in the greenhouse. Like I say, I had made this video when it was light out, but now I'm working with the truck lights because it didn't show up on the camera for some reason. So this is where I have most of my pine and stuff and the other oaks stacked. And right now I stacked this, I think there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's 12 pieces of white oak here. Now this is from yesterday. So just checking this, you can see it lost a good 10% or more just overnight. Now the fan's sort of hitting that, so we'll check this burley end here. Yeah, no, that's a little high, up in the 30s yet. I try to keep the fan running in here, and I just move it. It's just a small fan. You get it at Walmart, but I just move it around to keep the air moving in here. That's all it's for, just so that there's not, you know, it's not stagnant and full of moisture. Now the moisture content in the air in here, or the relative humidity, is probably high. We'll take a look at this gauge. It's not the best of gauges, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, it's saying 75% in here. Of course, the temperature is only 38, and that's why. But you can tell just by the board itself how quick it's, you know, losing moisture from the surface. But it's gonna not, it won't dry so fast in here that these boards will split. This white oak is gonna make some nice stuff, and what I'm gonna do with this white oak is I need 4 bedroom sets up at the house that I'm building. So I'm gonna use white oak to make the head and the footboards. This ought to be just enough to make 4 of them. You know, like a panel type headboard and footboard. I think it'll come out pretty nice, but now that won't be till next year sometime. So we're good with that. So then the other thing I'll be working on, I have a generator receptacle similar to this one, or I think this one may be the same thing, but I have one on my garage and one on the house. And I have a generator that's permanently hooked up to the house just in case, but and it can feed the garage from the house, but I also have one hooked up just to the garage in case you know, the power does run out and I need some extra juice over here in the garage that the generator can't handle with doing the house and the garage. So what I want to do with this one is I want to put this box up at the new house outside by the main panel that comes off the pole. Now we're not hooked up to the power, and I'm probably not going to hook up to it for the $4,000 they want for that. So what I needed there was, I need the inlet box, I need a piece of pipe to get from that into my panel, which it's only a foot long and that's flexible. It's all I actually need. 2 fittings, one for each end of the pipe, and one will go into this box, the other one will go into the panel. And then I also needed a 30 amp breaker, because the generator that I use would require 30 amps. So I'll hook this wire from this box through the tube into the panel where I'll put this 30 amp breaker. So this 30 amp breaker, then when I turn this on to the on position, it'll, and the generator's plugged in here, it'll feed the panel and the panel feeds the house. Now if I was hooked up to the electric company, I would want either a dual throw, like there's a double breaker. There would be a breaker over here that this one actually throws and shuts that one off. Back and forth, they work together for a manual type. Either that or I'd have to get some other type of a breaker. But since I'm not hooked to the power company, this will work fine for me up there. And then I won't have to be running extension cords all over the place to be able to work while I'm working on the house. So one of the other things then, up on one of my shelves here, I don't know if you can see, there's some like wire over there. Well, luckily I didn't throw this away. I had kept this wire. It's a piece of 10-4, so it has a ground, a neutral, and then 2 hot wires. So that's the type of plug I have here. So luckily I have this extension cord then to hook from a generator to that plug that I was just showing you, the outlet box or inlet box. So this is that twist type. So I found the wire. And I just put the the plugs on it yesterday. So that'll work good for me to be able to hook up the generator. Now, these boxes here, first of all, what I want to say is that cable alone, that's about a 25-foot cable. That cable alone at Harbor Freight is $50. So you can imagine what it would have been at Walmart, or not Walmart, but Lowe's. I think Lowe's wanted $103 for the same cable. And when I bought that cable, I think I paid probably $30 for it years ago. But it's still good cable. It's a good flexible stranded wire cable. So then the other thing is, that's what I'll be plugging into this. Okay, the one end, and then the other end, like I say, goes into the generator. So what I want to do is I want to pick up a generator then. They have a generator at Harbor Freight and you can't beat the price. I think with the 20% off it's $480 for an 8300 watt generator, and that's what I need to run. Now I can't run electric baseboard heat off of it, but I can run the the water pump, the refrigerator or two, and some lighting. So they work pretty good, those size generators. And it's an electric key start. The ones at Lowe's, for instance, the generators end up being $700 or $800, and they're not even a key start. You know, you got to pull start it. So anyway, I'll be hooking this up soon. I'll show you how I do that when I get up there to the panel. It's getting late now, and foggy, so I'm probably not going to do it today. So then what I wanted to show you here is I have this generator. I've had this box here since I built the house. So this generator sits here, and the generator is actually like brand new. I've only used it twice, but from sitting out here, it's got like mold and mildew on it. So I gotta take this out usually every year and clean it, so I don't have to do that again. But the good thing is that the wire from the generator goes into this receptacle here, and inside the house there's that manual type breaker that I was telling you, or not breaker, yeah, breaker that I was telling you about. So this stays plugged in, and all I have to do is start the generator to get the power into the house. And what I was saying here with the garage, I have that same panel, or that same box that's inside there is also out here. So I can separate the house from the garage and use a generator to run the garage if I want to, or I can use the generator. It'll actually run the house and feeds the panel that's in the garage. So I gave myself some options here, and I recommend that. If you're not familiar with electricity, you might want to do a lot of reading about, you know, these manual switches and stuff, because you can actually electrocute somebody from the power company if you don't know how to use them. So I would be very careful about that. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be working on next. You can see how foggy it is here. So have a good one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the ride up here. I enjoy it every time I have to go somewhere. Really nice to be living out in the country like this. Thank God there's still some country left in this America of ours.